All right, listen up. There is a war happening for the soul of the trucking industry. And if you aren't paying attention to the policy moves being made right now, you are going to wake up one day and find out that you've been regulated right out of your seat. The big dogs are making their moves. I'm talking about the Trucking Alliance, JB Hunt, Knight Swift, and Maverick, the giants of the game. They just dropped their 2026 safety agenda, and they are coming for two things: how your truck is inspected and who gets to move freight on America's soil. They're calling it safety, but is it safety or is it a corporate squeeze? I'm going to do a deep dive on this video. I'm going to break down the level 8 inspections. I'm going to talk about the crackdown on Mexican carriers. And I'm going to tell you why this matters for your pockets. But before I get into the meat of this, I need you to do something. There is a link in the description. It's the full Freight Waves article that I'm breaking down on this video. After you finish watching this video, and I really mean after you finish, go click that link. Read it yourself. Get the data straight from the source. Now, let's get into the video. First, we have to understand who we're talking about. The Trucking Alliance isn't just any group. They are a lobbying powerhouse. They don't represent the million plus small fleets. They represent the elite, the carriers with thousands of trucks, the carriers with billion-dollar balance sheets. And they just sat down with Freight Waves to lay out their vision for 2026. They're saying the industry had a tumultuous 2025, and their solution is more technology, more surveillance, and more barriers to entry. Let's look at policy number one, the one that should make every owner operator's hair stand up. And that's the level 8 wireless inspection. Right now, if a DOT officer wants to check your truck, they have to see you. They have to pull you over or they have to bring you into a weigh station. It's manual, it takes time, it requires a human being to physically look over your paperwork. The Trucking Alliance wants to kill that. They want level 8. What is a level 8 inspection? It's a wireless electronic inspection. Think about DriveWise or PrePass, but on steroids. As you approach a weigh station, your truck's telematics starts talking. They send your hours of service data, they send your CDL information, and they send your medical card status. They send your truck maintenance data, all while you're moving at 65 miles per hour. The computer at the weigh station looks at it. If the data is green, you bypass. If the data is red, or if you don't have the tech, you pull in. Now the Alliance says this is great. They say it reduces delays. They say it strengthens the integrity of CSA metrics. But let's look under the hood. To do this, you need expensive telematics. You need to give the government a direct pipe into your ELD. You are essentially volunteering for a 24/7 audit. And here is the kicker. Greer Woodruff from JB Hunt says something very telling. He said, we can pull in drivers who have insufficient data. Think about that. If you are a small carrier, if you don't have the newest, fanciest telematics, you are now a target. You have insufficient data. So you get pulled in every single time while the JB Hunt trucks breeze past at 70 miles per hour. This isn't just about safety. This is about efficiency for the big guys and a massive headache for the small guys. They're claiming 90% of carriers have no federal safety rating, and they want to use level 8 to force a rating on everyone. If you're a small fleet owner, you need to ask yourself, am I ready for the FMCSA to be in my cab wirelessly every single day? Now let's move to the second policy. This one is about cabotage. That is a fancy word for who is allowed to move freight between 2 points in the US. The law is simple. A Mexican carrier can bring a load into the US, but they can't pick up a load in Atlanta and drop it in Savannah. They have to go back to the border. But the Trucking Alliance is sounding the alarm. They're using tech like gen logs to track these guys. And they're saying they found nearly 1,000 Mexican carriers operating illegally deep in the US. They are operating in 20 different states, far north of the border zones. The Alliance is calling on Sean Duffy, Department of Transportation, to crack down. They want strict enforcement of English language requirements. They want surveillance. Why does this matter to you? because these illegal loads are driving down rates. When a carrier is operating outside the law, they don't have the same insurance costs. They don't have the same regulatory hurdles. They can undercut you on price. The alliance is pushing this because it protects their bottom line. But for once, their interests might actually align with yours. If we can get the illegal capacity out of the market, rates have to go up. The question is, are we okay with the surveillance state it takes to catch them? Because that same technology they use to track the Mexican carriers is the same technology they'll use to track you. There's a third part to this agenda. The alliance says they want safer trucks, but they made a very specific point. They aren't pushing for fully autonomous trucks yet. Why? Because they know the public isn't ready. Instead, they want to mandate advanced technologies, lane keeping, adaptive braking, collision avoidance. They want these systems deployed now. Again, on the surface, this sounds great. Who doesn't want fewer crashes? But let's talk about the cost of equipment. If you're buying a used truck or if you're running older equipment to keep your overhead low, these mandates are designed to make your truck obsolete. The big carriers buy new trucks every 2 to 3 years. They already have this tech. By pushing for these mandates, they are essentially making it illegal or too expensive to run older equipment. It's another way to squeeze the owner operator. They're framing it as mitigating risk in real time. I frame it as increasing the cost of doing business until the small guy can't breathe. You guys know how I move. I'm all about the business of transportation. And what I see here is a classic moat strategy. The big carriers are building a moat around their business. They're using regulation as the water. They want to make the industry so complex, so tech heavy, and so surveilled that the average person can't just start a trucking company with one truck and a dream. They want to professionalize the industry to the point of exclusion. They are leaning into the Sean Duffy DOT because they know the political wind is blowing toward America first. By tying safety to national security and cabotage, they are getting the government to do their dirty work for them. They are clearing the field of competition. And if you aren't prepared, if you aren't tech savvy, if you aren't keeping your data clean, you are going to be the one caught in the net. This is exactly why I keep telling you guys, you have to diversify. If the over-the-road OTR world is becoming a surveillance nightmare, if the big carriers are lobbying to control the highways, you need to look at where the big trucks can't go. You need to look at the final mile. In the final mile space, in the box truck world, you have more flexibility. You're operating in a different ecosystem. The trucking alliance is focused on the class 8 world. They're focused on the long haul lanes. But the money being made in local delivery, the money being made in specialized transportation, that is where the protection is. Because a JB Hunt might own the highway, but they don't own the last inch to the customer's doorstep in your local neighborhood. That's where you win. That's where the NBR transportation framework lives. We don't wait for the big guys to tell us how to run our business. We find the lanes they can't dominate. I covered a lot on this video. The level 8 inspections, the cabotage crackdown, and the technology mandates. The industry is changing. 2026 is going to be a wild year, but you have to stay informed. If you haven't already, scroll down right now, click that link in the description, read the Freight Waves article, do your own homework. Don't just take my word for it. And if you're sitting there thinking, man, I need a way out of this OTR grind, I need to understand this final mile game, I got you. I put together a free box truck course right here on YouTube. It's the Final Mile Blueprint. It's everything you need to know to start, scale, and dominate in the box truck space. No gatekeeping, no fluff, just the game. Click on the link below in the description box before you go. Also, if you got value from this deep dive, smash that like button because it helps the algorithm show this to other drivers who need to hear this message. And share this video in your trucking groups, post it on Facebook, put it in your Discord. We need to wake people up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on those post notifications. I'm dropping videos like this every week and you don't want to miss it. And finally, check out the video on the screen below where I talk about the new 2026 rules every driver must know. On this video, I cover regulatory updates, 2026 market outlook, clearinghouse 2, fraud prevention, and more. Once again, I'm Marcellus with Trucking with MBR. Stay safe on the road, and I'll see you on the next video.